What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. So this is Big Brother Season 25, Episode 2. So we pick up where we left off with everybody coming in the house, and they're seeing Serene. Now, Serene is from Survivor, and of course, a lot of people recognize her from Survivor, but there is one person in particular who recognizes her and immediately knows that Jared is her son. Why? Because she says she be stalking her social media. Now, that automatically made me nervous because I was like, well, how many other people follow her on social media and recognize Jared, right? But, baby, it's Izzy. Now, here's my problem with little Miss Izzy. I already told y'all that Izzy, I feel like Izzy gonna get on my nerves, and I already told y'all that. The minute she sees him, she runs up to him and is like, you're her son, you're her son. And he's like, yo, chill out. Like, please don't tell nobody. Hello, hello, hello. So they end up having a conversation with Serene. The three of them end up having a conversation, and she's like, oh, I got you, bro. Oh, I got you, bro. Don't worry, bro. Don't worry, bro. And as soon as she gets to her confessional, she was like, yeah, I've got control over them because they don't want their secret out. And, you know, I could turn this to my advantage. Now, listen, in the game of Big Brother, she got an ace card, right? And I'm not even mad at her for having an ace card. I'm just worried on how and when she going to use this ace card, right? So keep that in your back pocket. Now, the rest of the episode, we didn't really see a whole lot of Izzy, so I feel like that was the extent of that first little connection. So then, you know, we all come into the room and everybody's introducing themselves and telling all their lies about what they do for a living and what they don't do for a living. You know how that goes. Well, in the middle of them introducing themselves, Corey comes back, right? And he's been gone for like an hour, and he has this message from the Netherverse about, you know, he was the first, but he's not gonna be the last, and blah 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 blah, right? So we go through the different rooms. Y'all know how that, you know, y'all know all the Big Brother stuff, child. They looking at all the different rooms, figuring out who wants to sleep where, who doesn't want to sleep there, and all that good stuff. So we find out that we have our volunteers for who's volunteering to be a have-not. So, or who, they have to figure out who's going to be a have-not. So they take volunteers first. So, you know, the first little group, they volunteer, I believe, Lyle, I don't know all these names yet. But I know Jared, Lyle, I think Felicia. Her name not Felicia. It's Felicia. Felicia. And somebody else. Maybe it's Let me get my list of names because y'all know I don't know these people's names yet. Wrong list. Y'all know I'm learning, but I don't know all these people's names yet. Maybe is her name Riley? What's the young lady's name? The one I said that reminds me of Nicole. Riley, right? So, you know, again, they're just getting to know each other. Y'all know how that goes. So what we end up finding out though is exactly what I predicted. The person who gets put up as head of household, who wins head of household, they will not be nominating anybody. They'll be taking 2 nominees down. So it's a little unique. I like the twist. I'm here for it. Now, Miss Nicole, which I think I called her Nicole, but Miss Nicole, I'm sorry, it's not Nicole. My apologies, Nicole. Kristen is on the block, and Kristen is playing a little too hard, right? She already done tried to start a whole alliance, and the people were like, dang, how we go from talking about what your favorite color is to being in an alliance? Like, I don't know nothing about this alliance. I don't know how I got here. I don't know how this whole thing evolved. And so as a result, none of them are really taking the alliance seriously because they were like, how did this happen? Like, how did I get here? How did I get in this alliance? And Kristen is making the rounds. She goes to talk to Serene. She goes to talk to Felicia. Felicia. Anyway, she's like walking around the room talking to everybody, you know, and she's playing too hard. Now, again, y'all, you have had 25 seasons to figure this out. You are on the block and you are playing too hard. Now, I understand trying to build an alliance or trying to get votes, but you're doing too much too soon, and it is going to backfire on you, right? It is eventually going to backfire on you. We find out that the have-not room, you have to get kicked in the butt a certain number of times in order to get out of the have-not room every time you go in. You know, again, cute little twist, whatever. So So now it's time to play for head of household. Of course, everybody's eligible except for the 4 people who are already on the block. Now, the game they're playing is that little game where you have to go through an obstacle course, and you have the balance beams, you have the big, the small, the little, and of course it goes by speed. The bigger balance beams have the longer route. The smaller balance beams have the shorter route. Now, what I found interesting in this particular head of household is there seems to be a lot of people who really didn't want to win. Nobody seemed to really want to be head of household. They didn't want to make the decision. They didn't want the bullseye on their back. And they were kind of just making it believable, right? Like, I'm going to play just hard enough to make it look like I'm trying to win, but I'm really not trying to win. But the one person who did want to win is Riley. Now, Riley ended up setting a time of 22 seconds, which, you know, the time that nobody could beat whether they were trying or not. I don't really think, once it got to be 22 seconds, I don't even know how many people were even really trying anymore. So Riley ends up being the head of household, and immediately Riley realized, you know, the people are campaigning, but the one name that keeps coming back to Riley is Kristen. She's just playing way too hard. Like, you know, Serene's thing is, listen, my goal is to get my son off the block, you know. Now, the one thing I will say about Serene is eventually they're going to find out. Like, let's just call a thing a thing. Eventually they're going to find out. And even if you guys manage to keep it a secret, the minute Izzy is on the block, she's going to throw it out there to get her off the block. Let's just call a thing a thing. And again, she's got this ace card. Why wouldn't she use it? If it looks like she's getting ready to go home and she could throw y'all under the bus to cut up this automatic alliance, absolutely she would. So eventually they're going to find out that that's your son, one way or another. And I feel like Serene was playing a little too hard when Riley came to her and they were talking about Kristen. She was like, and she said, well, I'm thinking about taking Jared off the block. Oh, yes, because I think he's such a respectable young man. I mean, if I had kids, I would want my kids to be friends with him because he's such a good kid. You're doing too much. You're playing too hard. Because I know if that were me, I understand game and I would understand that I would get it. But I would play back every conversation I ever had with you in regards to Jared. And that conversation, in my mind, I'd be like, okay, you was doing too much. If I had kids, I'd want them to be friends with him. Like, girl, you doing too much, right? But I get it. You trying to make sure he stays in the game. And she said, listen, I'm just going day by day. Like, I still know that, you know, like, at the end of the day, I'm just taking this day by day. Because I think she knows in the back of her mind, eventually they're going to find out too, right? So Riley's thing is, Kristen is my goal, but who is going to be my pawn? Now, Corey, who actually is growing on me. I didn't think I was going to like Corey, but Corey's kind of growing on me. Now, y'all know that my opinions of these people change from episode to episode because they might do something to piss me off. But for right now, Corey, I'm cool with you, okay? I'm cool with you, Corey. And Corey did make a good argument, or a good persuasive argument for him to come off the block. And Riley likes him, right? Riley likes him. So when it came time for nominations, Riley took Corey off the block and Riley took Jared off the block, leaving Kristen and Felicia. Now, normally I would say Felicia's got the target on her back because she's the older player. However, Kristen has really pissed off a lot of people in this house. Now, it's going to come down to the veto. If Kristen wins the veto, Felicia, you in trouble. You going home. I'm just sorry. I don't think that unless something explosive happens between now and then, if Kristen wins the veto and takes herself off the block, right now I do believe she's the pawn. I do believe that Felicia is the pawn, and I do not think that they're going to send her home this week if they can get Kristen. Again, don't know what happens between now and eviction night, but if all things stay where they are now, this is what I see. Now, with that being said, there's still a lot of wild cards. We don't really know these people like that, and it's still a lot, you know, a lot happens between now and Thursday or Wednesday, whenever the eviction is. A lot can happen. Felicia's best option is to either win veto or people that she's cool with win veto. And right now, it seems like that's Jared and Serene. I don't know too many other people. But honestly, it's so early in the game. I don't know if they would use the veto on her. Like, she really needs to either win the veto or keep Kristen from winning the veto, honestly. But with that being said, that is where we are, you guys. That is the other thing was Kristen was really upset, talking about some she feels betrayed because she thought she was in an alliance with these people. Girl, the alliance that you made on day one, that you never really asked nobody if they wanted to be in an alliance, y'all just made an alliance. Girl, that alliance don't mean nothing to nobody. Nobody but you. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.